Greetings and welcome back to the channel, and welcome back once again to the Town of Light. We will be doing a full playthrough until this game is finished. I have no idea how long that's going to take. Follow me on my Twitch channel for other random things, but that will not be a daily occurrence, nor will it be the regular game. Yeah. Anyway, as we left last episode, we were going on about, well, Renee was going on about abandoning Charlotte. And so today, we have to find her and move from there. But when I started up, it already put us back here. This isn't where we left, so I don't know what's going on. Well, let's see if we can activate. Okay. So we're in the wheelchair right now. Okay, this is another memory. Let us out! Come on, I'll be good. Promise. Okay, oh. Don't have much in the way of controls. We can turn our head.
I didn't do anything. I just obeyed orders. I only obeyed orders. Charlotte has gone away. Mom will come and get us. She loves us, even though we're orders. Leave us alone. I didn't do anything. I only obeyed orders. Mom will come and get us now. I didn't do anything. I only obeyed orders. Even though we're bad. Mom won't leave us alone. I didn't do anything. Charlotte gone away. I only obeyed orders. Mom will come and get us now. She loves us, even though we're bad.
I didn't do anything. I only obeyed orders.
Hello. Turn our head a little bit, I think. Whoa, she is out of it. And we're next. Welcome to the doctor's office. Whoa. That is one hell of a menu. And it's still going. So we can look up and down. From side to side, but whoa. We are under the influence of something strong. Bite down on this. What? What? Oh man. Oh, that noise hurts your ear. Whoa. Now we're here. Hello. That's the shocker. That's the paddles. Is there anything on the back? Nope. Wow. Okay. So now what do we do?
What was that doctor writing, sitting at his desk?
There we go. We'll go back to the desk, I suppose, and see if we can find what the doctor was writing. Here we go.
September 7th, 1938. The patient frequently indulges in recriminations expressed in an explosive tone of voice. This morning she threw away the milk, saying it was full of urine, spittle, and all kinds of other filth. Crazed, she hears voices that order her to do things. She says she heard children singing and that they were locked up in a school. January 20th, 1939. Introverted, dazed, cannot focus on anything. When questioned and stimulated, she starts crying and weeping. At other times, she laughs. June 1st. Apathetic. Eats very little. She refuses to be touched. Does not respond. Spends her time in the grounds. The cooks report that she sits on a bench in front of the kitchens. October 14th. Return of impulsive behavior. This morning she asked for 2 eggs to make zabayoni, but when she got them, she threw them up in the air. Excited, clamorous, slightly confused. Takes her clothes off. December 8th. Tied to bed for 15 days.
Whoa.
High-spirited, tends to make witty comments and use vulgar words. Laughs hysterically and pleasures herself. The nurses report that about 2 weeks ago she remained in the showers on her own and didn't want to leave. They said that when they took her away, she swore at them and then lashed out and bit them. 2 nurses had to be treated for their injuries.
Damn.
They've kept her tied to the bed since then. Transferred to the slightly agitated ward, from the care of Dr. B to the care of Dr. C.
Wait, on her own?
I was with Amara in the showers. My memories are terrifying. They're not real, are they?
Wow. So Amara was a hallucination. Damn. What reality are we referring to? Memory is what you are, whether it's real or not. Yeah, just a figment of my imagination. Oh, damn, which one? Oh no, wrong one!
December 15th. Dr. C. Patient notes. The abnormality of her psychic state has induced her to lead a life which is irregular and tends towards delinquency. Of fickle and flighty character, she regularly discards her household duties and engages in occasional prostitution.
Wait, really?
Delinquency? Prostitution? Renee? It seems so strange, unreal. It can't be true. And Amara? She loved us and would tell us everything. She wouldn't hide anything from us. Her mental deficiency makes her deaf to the reprimands of her family. She has shown suicidal tendencies. She was brought to the ward yesterday, agitated and hysterical. Treated with cardiazol, 2 injections a week for 5 weeks. They were only trying to confuse us with the therapy, and my God, they succeeded. It was as if they wanted to instill the madness into us. June 2nd.
That was the right one. Cool.
After a long period of calm and improvement, the patient is very agitated today and vehemently refuses to submit to a gynecological examination. She swears and curses those helping her, flailing her arms and hitting them. According to reports by Dr. B, the patient has been subjected to periodic checkups since she had a spontaneous abortion about 2 years ago in her 3rd month of pregnancy. Conception occurred after she had sexual intercourse with a stranger who sneaked into the hospital grounds.
Yeah, nice way to put it.
Details are contained in the charges filed at police headquarters in Volterra, a copy of which is attached to these clinical notes. ES therapy.
Electroshock.
That's how the reality is concealed. It has all been planned very carefully.
Whoa, that bottom one's harsh.
June 13th. The nurses report that she descended into a state of great mental confusion after receiving her mother's letter. She threw her soup over another inmate because she was very anxious, and then punched a nurse. Impulsive, flails about her. She rails against the doctor in vulgar terms while he is examining her, lashes out and spits. Block all correspondence to give the patient no further reason to become agitated. August 20th, tied to bed. The nurses report that the patient is extremely agitated after the visit of a relative or family friend. 2 days later, she is still shouting all the time that he commands her, that she must obey and harm herself, and that she is not Charlotte. All visits forbidden, constrained to bed, and intensification of ES therapy until we achieve results. No contact with the outside. That way nobody knew what was happening within these walls.
The human misery was thrown in here and locked away to make the world forget about it. The people who were in here were no longer human beings as far as society was concerned. The important thing was to keep you quiet. You don't remember what happened when the letters arrived. How can you judge? God knows how much suffering they spared you. Damn. Oh, that was the wrong one. Shit.
Calm down. You must be calm. Don't get agitated. We'll make you calm down. Is that the only thing that matters? Is tranquility worth the price of not living?
Hundreds of us agitated, squeezed into the most inadequate spaces. Staying calm was essential for our well-being. What alternative was there? In any case, it was a life not worth living. Certainly not, but at least that way from outside, everything seemed more acceptable. Hey, that was the right one.
March 3rd. Alert, correct attitude. Replies when questioned. The nurses report that the patient is calm. She washes and looks after herself. She affirms the existence of a certain Amara. She says that Amara is a patient who disappeared when she was moved to this ward. No confirmation. Probably a regressive hallucination. Evaluate transfer. Did I imagine Amara? That's not possible. She was there. I know she was there. I feel it. She must have left some traces of her presence.
I think we're moving a bit faster now too, so that's always nice. Although, where do we look? In the bathrooms? Whoa. Memory. And there's one of the bindings for tying to the bed. with a toilet hole. How lovely. Ooh, what's this? Can we access them? Hello! Yay! Ooh, trophy and the complete works of Renee. What do we got? Medical records, that's what we just picked up. We have the whole diary! Awesome! Let's see what we got. Turn the page! Okay, we've seen that one. That creepy ass doll picture. Seen that one. Seen that one. This one maybe?
I remember a recurring dream from that time. I used to have plenty of nightmares, but this particular one was so real that even today, I ask myself whether it could have possibly been just a dream. I was in bed, enveloped by the warmth of the blanket, in the dark, about to succumb to sleep, when I heard the bedroom door open. I turned to face the wall and did not have the courage to turn around.
Come on, turn the page. Thank you.
I only saw a shadow cast against the wall by the light filtering in through the door. Then I heard the door close again, and I thought that it might have been my mother who, before going to bed, used to peep in to see whether I was sleeping. However, there was no time to breathe a sigh of relief, for footsteps approached the bed, and I heard the sound of breathing close by. Fear paralyzed me from head to toe. The blankets were pulled back. I remember the chill of fresh air on my spine. Someone sat on the bed, and I trembled.
Oh, this isn't going to be good.
Then the dream finished.
Huh.
The light often came when I was at school, turning my fellow pupils into puppets that would terrorize me. To me, they appeared transformed, with the bloodied heads of animals stuck where their own heads should have been.
That would be creepy.
I would curl up on the floor and would even wet myself. The teacher would try to console me and would smile at me, but her teeth and her eyes would terrify me even more. Things did change. I don't know why, perhaps during the second or third year of school.
That would be really creepy. I don't blame you for freaking out.
It was more or less in the same period that I became friends with Bruna. I remember the sensation of joy I experienced when I felt almost normal. The light isn't coming. The dreams have gone, and I have a real friend, one who speaks to me. I would repeat this to myself proudly while looking in the mirror, where I no longer saw an embarrassing reflection.
Aww.
It seemed to me that the world was a difficult place, but it was no longer impossible. Bruna. I did not understand what Bruna saw in me, especially as she was almost 2 years older than me. I would tell her this every now and then, and she would joke about it, saying, "Nothing. I don't see anything in you, which is what I like about you." And then she would hug me.
That's not a very nice joke.
But one day, she was sad and pensive, and said to me, "You and I are the same. Don't be fooled. You are reserved and honest, and I'm not. But that's the only difference between us. The only one." Then she began to cry. I was struck by the perception in her words, but only today, after re-examining my past, do I understand what she meant.
What, does she steal the light as well?
I no longer considered my body as something disgusting and ill. Far from it. I began to look at myself, to caress myself, and smell my own skin. I began to explore and experiment, finding physical pleasure. My ideas were not very clear, and I never spoke to anyone about these things. Bruna, however, spoke about them. She boasted about her love stories and her young men. To my eyes, she was very lucky, always being wooed. By marvelous, generous, and kind boys. Thus, I fantasized about her adventures, pretending that I was the main protagonist.
But why
But
rabbits?
how could I ever be like her? Occasionally I recall that she had black and blue marks on her body, but I was so naive that I did not understand. I did not put two and two together. It was Don Gino who explained things to me a few years later.
Damn.
He told me about Bruna's father and brother, but I was already very ill. The light had returned, and that thing made me suffer even more. It was my world, and it was crumbling. When I spoke to Bruna about it, she turned her head away and was silent for a long time. Prince Charming doesn't exist, Renee. At least not for us. I was 14 years old. I didn't think it was possible for a boy to look at me and desire me. When he asked me if I wanted to go for a walk, I didn't say anything. I didn't even have the courage to look at him. Things improved for a number of years, then suddenly everything came crashing down. One evening I came home drunk, and the following morning a terrible crisis overcame me. All of a sudden, what had I done? I was terrified. I thought I'd lost my sight. The light burned my eyes from inside. The memories of the
Blackout
previous
trauma.
day emerged in bursts, images, flashes, which unleashed something monstrous inside me. Repetition of words was no longer sufficient. Now there was a voice in my head which repeated them louder than I did, and they were words of accusation and blame. So I covered my ears and shouted and hit my head against the wall and threw up.
She doesn't handle her alcohol very well.
I remember the doctor, the wall filthy with blood and vomit. My mother wasn't looking at me. Bruna was crying but trying to hide it. Charlotte was beside me. I never told anyone what had happened. He came to visit me, but I refused to see him. I became agitated. I think he liked me, even though things turned out badly. In that period, I began to suffer from memory loss. The few things I learned didn't please me at all. He told me that I was looking for him. It was all my fault. Bruna told me that sometimes I got drunk. People in the village gossiped about me. Sometimes I was covered in black and blue marks. I didn't realize what was happening to me, what I was doing. I was no longer in control of my life. From my little corner.
Come on, turn the page. Thank you.
He felt accused, hurt. I chased him away. I insulted him. He was proud, handsome. He said things about me to other people, which he shouldn't have said. Mother caught me coming home drunk. She beat me and sent me to speak to Don Gino every day. He came back and tried to speak to me. I think he liked me. Sometimes I sent him packing and I started shouting at him. But other times I embraced him. I held him tight and loved him.
Although I have noticed that sometimes the words written don't match the words that are spoken, so...
But he couldn't bind himself to me. I was 16 and ill. I had no future. I didn't get out of bed for weeks. Then I did things I was ashamed of. I slept with men. The guilt tore at my soul. And the light came back to torture me. I invented stories to justify my actions. I couldn't bear my own weight. Mom found out about it. Her voice split my head. I pushed her away because I was afraid of dying, and I shouted to the whole world what was happening to me, and that I didn't understand. The police arrived, and they carted me away. I remember the onlookers shaking their heads. They would be better off without me, cleansed of shame, with something to talk about for a while.
Wow. Okay. That is one hell of a diary.
We can look for her things in the storeroom containing the bundles of the patient's belongings on the upper floor.
I thought that's what we'd have to do, but I just wanted to check. Well, we're up here. Surgery 1, 2, and 3. That's not it. Nope. I think it's one down the end. Looks like it might be. I'm hopeful. Haha! Let's see. Bundle of things. Wait, is that it there?
These
It
are
is.
Amara's things, I'm certain.
Alright, let's have a look.
Amara, there she is. She existed. She really did exist. There she is, my friend.
Sweet. Samara wasn't a figment of the imagination.
March 12th, 1938. The young girl Renee arrived today. Poor thing, she was terrorized. You see, she remembers the first time we met. I talked to her mother, the dear lady, and she expressed her fears to me, and I promised I'd keep an eye on her daughter. The lady told me her daughter's doll had been taken away, and this worried her, because when she becomes depressed, as she is now, Renee barricades herself in her room and can't communicate. The doll becomes her voice, eyes, and ears. Dr. B said I'll soon get out of here. I'm sorry. I'm so sad to leave Renee. I won't be able to protect her anymore. My poor friend. She's
got
hoping to be
out.
able to get out of here, but nobody ever leaves this place. That poor girl is really ill. I am the only one she ever speaks to. I told her I was leaving, and she stared at me, saying that I would never leave. It was quite unnerving, and then she started to cry. I felt like crying too. She didn't say anything else. What worries me is that I'm sure that terrible man is watching her. He was the one who brought her here, and of all the good people, why did it have to be him? She knew. I told her everything. She knew about that man. That's why they wanted to make her disappear from my life. But I instructed a nurse friend of mine to keep an eye on her, and I'm sure she will, because she's a good woman. Her friend the nurse, I vaguely remember. She worked on this ward.
But if she got out, then why is her bundle of stuff still here?
Here we are together. How could I have imagined for a single moment that she never existed?
It's a shoe. And the clothes don't do anything. Ooh, twinkly bells. And on this rather twinkly note, I'm going to end this episode here. Thank you for joining me today, and Renee. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. We do daily gameplay videos, I respond to all comments, and I'd love you to join the family. So until next time, stay safe, stay beautiful, and keep flying. It may not be much, but for some that's enough. Oh. Bye!